Hi everyone, and welcome to today's workshop, Cybersecurity and Your Small Business, brought to you by Grow with Google. Grow with Google helps people grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free digital skills training and tools. My name is Beth. I'm from the Somerset County Library, and I'm happy to have you join us. Today we'll be talking about cybersecurity, why it matters to businesses of all sizes, and how you can protect yourself and your customers. So please note that all of the examples that are within this presentation are spam messages. Do not fall for any of them. Do not try to follow any of the links that are shared. These are just here as examples. So let's start with some examples of common cyber attack attempts that many of us, if not all of us, have experienced. Have any of you ever received an email like this with the exciting news that a generous stranger has gifted you $1.5 million? Oh, we wish, don't we? Sounds too good to be true, right? Emails like this have many variations. In this example, the sender wants to know if he can trust you with $10.5 million. If you respond with your phone number, he'll let you know what to do next. And cyber attacks are not limited to email. They can surface in many forms of communication, including text messages. Attempts aren't always as obvious as multi-million-dollar giveaway, but you might be asked to click on a link to renew a subscription for a service that sounds familiar. This is an example of phishing, when a cyber criminal impersonates a brand or person to trick you into taking an action that gives them access to your device or accounts. Sometimes the communications are threatening. The sender says they found illegal, embarrassing content on your computer. They plan to let everyone know unless you transfer 13.5 Bitcoin to their account. The value of a Bitcoin can fluctuate, but at the time when this email was received, the ransom was more than $20,000. The blackmailer provides instructions on how to make the Bitcoin transfer with a little barb quote. If you don't know how to purchase and transfer Bitcoin, you can use any modern search engine. Best of all, they offer some parting advice. They suggest keep changing all your passwords frequently. It's not shabby advice. In today's workshop, we will show you some ways to create and manage strong passwords so you won't, quote, get caught in similar kinds of situations anymore in the future, end quote. This workshop will explain ways to improve your online business security. We'll help you to understand why cybersecurity matters for businesses of all sizes, show you ways to protect yourself and your customers online, and explain your next steps in the event of a cyber attack. So let's get started. All of us have heard stories of computer security breaches over the years, with customer data stolen, systems disabled, and access to important data held for ransom. As the number of digital tools grow, they also become attack vectors for criminals and other bad actors, presenting another challenge for businesses. According to an online survey conducted by the Connected Commerce Council in 2022, 65% of small business leaders say that data security and customer privacy are concerns for their businesses right now. In the same survey, 85% of small business leaders said that having a cybersecurity plan in place would make them feel more comfortable using digital tools for their businesses over the next 2 years. There's no denying that there are bad actors out there, but there are also actions that you can take to protect your business and your customers and start developing your cybersecurity plan. So what exactly is a cyber attack? A cyber attack is any offensive action that targets computers, computer networks, infrastructures, or smartphones. To get into these systems, the attackers look for vulnerabilities like weak passwords. Here's another way to look at it. Think of your computer, phone, and online presence like a home. This home has different entry points, including email, social media, a website, and more. Cyber criminals test the entry points by automating attacks with computer code that knocks on every door to see which one's open. Initially, a cyber criminal might not know or even care what's inside the home. They won't necessarily review brand or business information before attacking. They are simply checking for vulnerabilities, which can be exploited. That's why it's important not to dismiss cybersecurity thinking that your business is too small for an attack. Most cyber criminals choose targets by looking for technical signals that suggest vulnerabilities. These can include out-of-date websites built with less security, software that hasn't been updated, and technical vulnerabilities on employee devices. So how can you protect yourself? Let's start with passwords and identity. By now, many of you have probably heard advice about creating strong passwords. It's helpful to review some basic tips. Make your passwords difficult to guess. They should be long strings of characters that include letters, numbers, and symbols. Keep passwords private and never share them with other people. And use a different password for each account and service. Using different passwords means that even if someone figures out a password for one account, they can't use it to access other accounts. And here's a bonus tip. Make sure you use a strong password for your Wi-Fi network too. So we all know that, yeah, we have to have these strong passwords. They have to be like mega long and all these characters and different passwords for each website. And I can't keep this all straight. I have enough trouble remembering what I'm supposed to be doing today. Perhaps an easier way to manage passwords is to use a tool called a password manager. There are many options available, but they all essentially do the same thing. They help you securely store and autofill passwords so you can easily sign into your accounts. Some password managers can also generate secure passwords for you too. I use one called LastPass, but check out what's out there. You can find different options for password managers by doing a search for password manager. Google has a no-cost option called Google Password Manager. Password Manager helps you create, save, and autofill your passwords. It can also alert you if any of your saved passwords have been compromised. Passwords are securely stored in your Google account. You can learn more by visiting passwords.google.com. An extra security measure you can use to protect your identity is called two-step verification. This feature is also known as two-factor verification and multi-factor authentication, or MFA. And you've probably used that with bank accounts or credit card accounts. Here's how it works. When you sign into a device or an online account with your username and password, two-step verification adds another requirement. You can't sign until you complete the second verification step. This could be a code sent to your phone, a phone call that requires a PIN code, or a physical security key that must be plugged into the computer. Enabling two-step verification means the account is protected by something that you know, your username and password, plus something that you physically own, like a phone or security key. This combination makes it more difficult for an unauthorized person to sign into the system. Two-step verification is useful for any service you sign into, like email or password-protected websites. If your business builds and sells online services or software, consider making two-step verification part of your product. Giving your customers the option of using two-step verification will help them protect their accounts. If your business uses Google Workspace, your administrator has the option to enable two-step verification. If your data is especially sensitive, consider using a security key. They are the most secure form of two-step verification and can protect against phishing threats. You can purchase the security key. They are about $30, or use your phone's built-in security key available on phones running Android 7 Plus or iOS 10 Plus. If you are using Google's consumer tools, like free Gmail, you can turn on two-step verification at your Google account. In either case, you are making it much more difficult for cyber criminals to access your account. If you use Google Workspace, you have an administrator account or admin account, even if it's just you. An admin account has privileges to manage services like Gmail and Google Docs for other people in your organization. Everyone that has an associated Google Workspace account. If your business does not have a dedicated IT administrator, you're probably the admin. Here are some tips to help the admin set the Google Workspace account up for security success. First, limit who can see newly created files. You can control who can see files created by the users in your Google Workspace account, your employees, your colleagues, by turning link sharing off. You can make sure only the user who creates a file can open it until they explicitly share it with other people. You can also add an automatic warning if a file is being shared with someone outside the organization. Another tip, limit how users share their calendars. Company calendars can contain sensitive information, so you might want to restrict calendar sharing so external users cannot see events details. Finally, don't get locked out of your account. If you set up a recovery phone and email address, Google can send a new password via phone, text, or email. You can get step-by-step instructions to manage these security options in the Help Center, or visit g.co/grow/workspace-security to learn more. The Google Workspace Administrator sets up security options that apply to everyone in the organization. But individual users can add their own restrictions. For example, if you share a file with another person, you can control whether they can edit, comment on, or only view the file. After you share a file, you can stop sharing at any time. You can also control if people you've shared with change permissions, share your file with others, and if people with viewer or commenter access can download, print, or copy the file. To learn more about how files and folders can be shared, visit g.co/grow/sharing files. Now that you've learned some ways to protect your passwords and your identity, let's talk about protecting your equipment, apps, and data. Let's start with some basic tips. First, never leave your computer unattended. Even in your workplace, you should keep your computer private. One option is to enable lock screen. It's a security feature that requires a password to access data and programs on the computer. That way, if you step away from your computer for a few minutes, the lock screen keeps your work private. If you're responsible for distributing computers to employees or colleagues, make sure they can access only the devices that are assigned to them. In addition, people should have access only to the tools they need to do their jobs. For example, a sales team might need access to inventory records, but not payroll data. If system access is limited, there's less risk to the business if a device falls into the wrong hands. Finally, make sure hardware comes from a trusted source before using it. For example, if you find a USB stick on your desk and you're not sure where it came from, don't plug it into your computer. The same considerations apply to mobile devices. If your colleagues and employees can access company information via smartphones or tablets, consider creating a mobile device management policy. The policy could, for example, require employees to encrypt their devices, require a PIN to unlock them, allow remote wiping of data. If you allow employees to access company data from their personal devices, consider what could happen if the device is stolen, lost, or if the employee leaves the company. One solution is remote data wiping, a feature that enables an authorized person to send a command that completely erases all stored data on a device. This option can protect your company's assets and reduce the risk of data breach. Now that you know some ways to protect your equipment, let's cover a few other safety precautions that can protect your apps and your data. First of all, make sure that your operating systems and software is up to date. It's important to use software that allows you to run regular updates. Enable auto updates so you have the latest security fixes as soon as they are available. Review your devices. Are there apps that you do not need? If so, remove them. Finally, if you're responsible for distributing computers to employees or colleagues, establish policies that limit what data can be stored on their devices. Again, if a device contains only the information necessary for someone to do their job, there is less risk to the company if it falls into the wrong hands. Many of these security precautions can be addressed by using cloud-based computing systems like Google Cloud. Google Cloud powers more than 100 products and services from financial services products to gaming. If you use Gmail or Google Workspace, you're already using it. Cloud protects your information, identities, applications, and devices using the same secure by design infrastructure, built-in protection, and global network that Google uses to run its business. Data is encrypted in transit between Google's facilities and at rest, ensuring that it can only be accessed when authorized. Google's top priority is security. These systems undergo independent verification of security, privacy, and compliance controls. So far, we've covered protecting passwords, identity, hardware, and apps. Now let's talk about some ways you can protect your customers and your business too. Securing your website and protecting web pages from unauthorized access. Restrict website edit access to the people responsible for making those updates. Many sites are edited via web-based content management systems that are accessed with a username and password. That's where our password safety tips come in handy. If two-step verification is an option, consider turning that on. Another way to protect your site, use HTTPS. Sometimes the easiest way to explain something is to look at it. If you have a computer or smartphone handy, pull up a website. Any website will do. And look at the URL at the top of the browser window. You'll see that the URL starts with HTTP or HTTPS. Without getting into too much technical stuff, this prefix allows browsers to load web pages. HTTPS is the same as HTTP, except that the S means the website is secure. HTTPS tells a browser to encrypt the data exchanged with a web page. Encryption disguises data and lessens the chance that information is viewed or manipulated by unauthorized people. Adding the security protects customer data that is viewed or exchanged via the website. This is especially important for personal details or financial information. But it's a good idea to use HTTPS even if your site doesn't handle sensitive info. To use HTTPS, you need a secure certificate. Most likely, your web hosting provider offers this feature. If they don't, you can buy a digital certificate from a company that sells them, called a certificate authority, and install it yourself. One final reason to use HTTPS, apart from the security benefit, using it can improve your website's ranking on search engines. For example, Google Search uses HTTPS as a positive ranking signal. Google Workspace includes a website builder tool called Google Sites. Incidentally, this is available as a consumer product too. Google Sites automatically includes a secure certificate. You don't need to pay for it. Again, this security measure protects customer data that is viewed or exchanged via the website. Google Sites can be used as internal sites or shared with the world. You control who can see it and edit it. You can learn more at google.com/sites. Protecting your business online doesn't stop with your website. Another area of consideration is your email provider. Choosing a provider that supports encryption, transport layer security, is an important step toward protecting your business and your customers. By default, Gmail always tries to use a secure TLS connection when sending email. However, a secure TLS connection requires that both the sender and the recipient use TLS. If the receiving server doesn't use TLS, Gmail still delivers messages, but the connection isn't secure. When in doubt, do not open a suspicious email, period. Unsolicited email is called spam. Sometimes spam is simply an online version of a cold call. Sometimes spam can be a cyber attack attempt. Remind colleagues and employees to be careful when clicking on email attachments, downloading files, or visiting new URLs. Never click on links in unsolicited emails. Look out for suspicious sender email addresses and email signatures. And never share personal information such as usernames and passwords, social security numbers, credit card numbers, etc. One common type of email attack is called phishing. In a phishing attempt, a cybercriminal impersonates a trustworthy brand or person to trick you into taking an action that gives them access to your business or customers. For example, they might try to trick you into installing a malicious piece of software called malware that will give them full access to your computer. Or they might impersonate a credit card company in order to steal your username and password or other and financial information. Phishing attacks can target an individual person or be broadcasted to a large group. And phishing is not limited to email. It can happen in a variety of places, including text messages, messaging apps, and websites. To make matters worse, phishing attacks can be fairly sophisticated, and the communications may appear legitimate at first glance. So let's take a look at how you can identify suspicious emails. Spam emails, malicious or not, can be difficult to spot, but there are some warning signs that can help you make a decision about whether it's safe. Unfortunately, each of these signs does not necessarily indicate that the email is spam. Sometimes it's a combination of signals that will tip you off. First, is the email from a sender you recognize? Check the display name. Does it match the email address you expect? If the displayed name is your well-known financial institution, but the email address is givemeyourmoney12345@gmail.com, that's a good clue that this is not a legitimate email. Also, review the email subject line. Many spam emails inject a sense of urgency, hoping you'll take action. The email might literally include the word urgent in all capital letters. Sometimes, like the example shown on this slide, the subject line will warn you about unexpected expense. Some email programs, like Gmail, offer the option to select an identity photo. If you know the sender and you notice the absence of their profile photo, it's another warning sign. The next clue, poorly written copy. This will be a judgment call on your part. Even the biggest brands can make spelling or grammar mistakes. But if the phrasing is awkward, if the sentences don't read naturally, it's a sign that the email text might be the product of a translation tool and possibly spam. Take a look at the subject line of the email shown on this slide. Invoice as being done, and we will charge dues $348.60. That should be a big red flag that this is not a legitimate email. You can see how awkward it reads. Finally, be very careful about attachments. Never ever click an attachment on an email that you suspect is spam. As in, you could be downloading malware that would allow spammers access to your computer. Okay, let's play Can You Spot the Fake? So let's take a look at another cyber attack attempt. This is a tricky one. Take a look at these two screenshots. Both appear to be from Google, asking you to input your two-step verification code that would provide access to the account. Can you spot the fake? Take a few minutes to look. And here's a closer look at the fake version. The first thing you'll notice is that you don't recognize this person. So there's no sender profile picture. And they dropped a big clue with the email address, unknown sender. Also, there is no profile photo associated with this email address, another clue that might help you identify a fake. The clue that clinches it is the URL. It's really tricky because as a quick glance, it looks like you're at https://accounts.google.com. That's a Google URL. But if you look, you will see that it reads https://accounts.google.com.https-com.tn. If a website is taking you to a sub-website, there will be a slash after that first .com. So it'll be accounts.google.com / and then the rest of the email or the rest of the website. But instead of the forward / the URL continues with the .https -com.tn, and that is not a Google URL. Google's email product, Gmail, provides a high level of security, protecting businesses and users from spam, phishing attacks, and malware by filtering out harmful email. Gmail blocks an estimated 10 million spam emails every single minute, 100 million phishing attempts every day. Gmail is available as a free consumer product and also powers Google Workspace, a productivity suite built for businesses. Google Workspace accounts also include an optional free service called Advanced Protection. People who have at-risk accounts that contain particularly valuable files or sensitive information, should consider Advanced Protection. Advanced Protection requires a security key to verify your identity and sign into your Google account. You'll need to buy a key if you don't have one. They range in price, but are typically about $30. Advanced Protection is different from two-step verification because the second step is always a physical security key. In addition, it limits third-party app access to your data, puts stronger checks on suspicious downloads, and tightens account recovery security to help prevent unauthorized access. Google strongly recommends that journalists, activists, business executives, and people involved in elections enroll. Bottom line, think before you click. When in doubt, do not click. Finally, let's consider this proverb. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That holds true for most things in life, including cybersecurity. It's important to have a plan ready in case you detect a security problem. A data breach response plan outlines who's in charge and what needs to be done if sensitive or confidential data is viewed or stolen by an unauthorized person. This response plan can protect your business assets by ensuring that action is taken quickly if things go wrong. For example, in the case of a ransomware attack in which cybercriminals steal sensitive data and then demand a ransom for its return, a solid response plan would include making sure you have recent data backups. Take time to develop a clear plan in advance so everyone understands what steps to follow if a security incident occurs. Another step you can take to protect your equipment, software, and systems is to create a record of your technology assets. Which platforms, tools, and software are you using? What accounts, like social media, do you have? Don't forget to include suppliers and customers as well as employees. During your inventory, you might also discover out-of-date software, a potential target for cybercriminals. Answering these questions will help you develop an asset inventory, an important step for improving online security. You do not want to train employees about cybersecurity while you are experiencing a cybersecurity breach. Do not wait. You might designate someone at your business to be responsible for online safety policies and training. You could create an internal training website where security information and resources are available. Training and resources are a great start, but it's just as important to make sure your company has a strong security culture. Employees are the first line of defense. Ideally, they feel comfortable reporting concerns or mistakes without fear of blame. In the event of a security breach, the focus is on identifying and resolving the issue and preventing similar problems from happening again, not pointing fingers. You can build a security culture by discussing security regularly, encouraging employees to share concerns, and making sure that company leaders model good security practices. Think about the security culture in your business. How can you make improvements? Consider this scenario. Despite all your best security efforts, you are the victim of a cyber attack. Perhaps you inadvertently clicked on a link in a phishing email or your account was hacked. Maybe you don't even know how your system was breached, but you notice suspicious activity on an account. If you even suspect that you've been attacked, you should take proactive steps immediately. Start by telling your IT department what happened. For many small businesses, the IT department might be you. Contact all the financial services where you have accounts, including banks and credit companies. Check closely for any activity you don't recognize and report fraudulent activity. Close or place holds on any accounts that you suspect may have been compromised. Check your credit report for any new accounts that you didn't open. You can request a free credit report from each of the 3 nationwide credit reporting agencies every 12 months. Report any fraudulent accounts or loans you don't recognize. Consider protecting your credit by placing a fraud alert or freezing your credit. After securing your bank and credit information, report the attack to the appropriate agencies. First, file a report with the local police so that there is an official record of the incident. The next step is to file a report with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, I3C. Cyber crimes reported here will be investigated and referred to the appropriate agency. To file a complaint, visit www.ic3.gov. If the security breach involved fraud, scams, or bad business practices, contact the Federal Trade Commission at www.reportfraudftc.gov. If you find any fraudulent activity on your credit report or have reason to believe someone is using your Social Security number, you can also file an identity theft report at www.idtheft.gov. Depending on the situation, the steps you take will vary. If you are experiencing if you are experiencing a ransomware attack, you should immediately disconnect the affected device from your network. If data was stolen or compromised, you should take steps to protect your company and inform customers if their data was involved. No matter what type of cyber attack you experienced, it's smart to change your passwords. If your equipment or systems are compromised because of malicious software, you may need to seek professional technical support. Do a search for managed security support provider to see options for companies that might be able to help. And continually monitor your credit and financial accounts. So let's recap all the topics we discussed today and look at a few additional Grow with Google resources. First, use strong, unique passwords for all your accounts. Consider using a password manager. 2, use two-step verification whenever possible. Keep equipment safe, including mobile devices. Secure your website using HTTPS. Use a secure email provider. Don't wait for a cyber attack to happen to figure out what you will need to do. Make a plan and create a list of your tech assets. And finally, get your colleagues and employees on board by developing and nurturing a security culture. And you can learn more about online safety by visiting Google's Safety Center. From here, you can access features like two-step verification, automatically deleting web and app activity data, setting parental controls to keep your family safe online, running an account security checkup, and much more. To get to the Safety Center, visit safety.google. If you are looking to start a new career and land a competitively paid job or build skills to grow in your career, check out Google Career Certificates. Google Career Certificates can give you a path to in-demand jobs with top employers that are currently hiring. You can earn a certificate and prepare for a new career in a high-growth field in under 6 months, even if you don't have relevant experience. Learn at your own pace and complete the online program on your own terms. Certificates are available for data analytics, business intelligence, advanced data analytics, digital marketing and e-commerce, IT support, IT automation with Python, user experience design, project management, and of course, cybersecurity. To get started, visit grow.google/certificates. Grow with Google is an initiative to help people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their businesses. Job seekers can grow their skills in order to find new jobs and advance their careers. Teachers can learn how to put the latest technology to work inside and outside of the classroom. Small business owners can build their online presence and find new customers. Startups can learn how to get their ideas the exposure they need to succeed. Developers can sharpen their current skills and master new ones. To learn more, visit google.com/grow. And thank you so much for attending today's workshop. If you would like to take a moment to share your thoughts with Google, they would appreciate it. And you can access the survey at g.co/grow/feedback or by using your mobile phone's camera to scan the QR code on this slide. And thank you again.